John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Verse 17. For God sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. Okay? Good to see everyone back at the path. Why am I reading John 3:16? Maybe it's because of how things are. Maybe it's because we just need to be reminded. Maybe we need to just meditate, think. Yeah, meditate on God's word. See, it is so simple. John 3:16, a child can understand this. Let's go through this again, okay? I felt that the Lord put this on my heart to do this video right now. And it's the last day of November. Tomorrow is the first day of December. I can't believe it this year. It's just been something else. And I've been trying to come up with this with a video that I think would reach not just people, but reach into your thoughts and touch your heart. And I was thinking of the name for the videos, Count the Cost. Count the cost. You know, I have a story for you. When I was a kid, I knew this one guy on the back of his van. He had a little van, said, "Real men love Jesus." I thought, yeah, right. Let's see what this guy is about. Got to know him, started reading some scriptures, had questions. I ended up getting saved, and he actually led me to Christ, and he was actually beside me when I was baptized. And I distinctively remember I was over at his house, and he told his wife, he had some kids, he goes, "Well, we're going to go for a walk," and it was about a couple blocks down the street to a little mall actually. And as we were walking, it was evening, it was dark, it was starting to get dark, and he goes, "Keith, the best thing I could recall," he goes, "Keith, the devil's going to come at you. You're going to start this journey, and you're going to have a lot of difficult times, and it's not going to be easy." And you know, I was a pretty young kid, pretty naive, and I just kind of thought to myself, yeah, right, what does this guy know? What does this guy know? So my brother, I don't think he ever really cared that much about me. He had a lot of things going on. And one of the things, he used to sit there and just look at me with this scornful look and just shake his head. He goes, "Keith, you always take the hard road. You always do things the hard way. Look, all you have to do is this, and it's easy. And I always thought, well, it doesn't make sense to do something this way if it isn't going to be done correctly. As a pretty young kid, my brother wasn't very kind to me. And I remember he was married, had a couple kids. He goes, hey, the fair's in town. I'm paraphrasing again. I really don't have a lot of money. I need to borrow your paycheck. Well, let me decipher that and translate that for you. That means basically, hey, I need your money and you're going to give it to me. Again, new in the faith, just baptized. Don't think I was baptized that long, right? And I found this Christian bookstore. Yeah, it goes back that far. I thought to myself, I need a good Bible. I need a Bible that I can read so I understand what God's saying to me. I understand what I should be doing. I know, we all know inherently within us, that's bad, that's good, that's right, that's wrong, we should do this, we should do that, we should go here, we should go there. Trying to keep this light from being too overbearing, so forgive me. So I had to count the cost. I went to the bookstore. I was there probably a good couple hours, and I sat down. I told I believe it was a lady there, and I said, I don't know anything about Bibles. I don't really know anything. Can you help me pick one that you think would be the best to use? She goes, oh yeah, I can help you. Excuse me. It's late in the evening. It's about 5:36. I just arrived back here a short while ago. Some good coffee. So she picked a Bible out for me and said, hey, this is a good one. I said, thank you. And I looked at it and I thumbed through it and I read some of it and I'm like, man, I don't know. So I was looking around, I found another one. And if I recall correctly, I believe that I bought them both at the same time. I may have went back, but I'm not quite, I don't think so. So I bought this one Bible. I think I bought two of them. Anyway, and I knew what was going to happen. So I went back. I was living with with the rest of my siblings, and the time came. I heard my brother come up, park the car, get out. He looked right at me. He goes, give me the money. I looked right at him. I said, I don't have the money. So he started to belittle me. He started to cuss me out. Why? Whoa. What'd you do with that money? So picked up a book and I said, I bought a Bible. Or I could have said to him, I bought two of them because I don't recall precisely. And this is one of them. The other one, I have on the shelf. And he just laid into me. See, trying to understand the reason why we're here, the purpose why we're here in life. trying to ask questions, to seek, to want to know what an answer is. It didn't go over well. See, I was fully prepared, ready. I acknowledged, I understood, I realized the cost that I would have to pay to have a Bible. You see, I knew when I didn't have that money to give to him, he was going to take it out on me. And he came very close to that, extremely close. And at the very last moment, I believe that was the time they had me pinned up against the wall. And he drew his hand back and he went to hit me, and at the very last second he veered off. He went through the drywall and he hit a stud in the wall. And he thought, and I thought, that he broke his hand. That's the type of affection that I am used to from my brother. Was it worth that price? Was it worth the price of me going, God, accept me. I want to be baptized. I want to know you. Look at what you did for me. You did that for me. I need to understand why. I need to read. I need to educate myself in the book that you have left. Not just for me, but for all of us. And while I was trying to figure out which book to get, I was trying to understand the different variations of Bibles. In the back of my head, I thought, okay, this is worth getting beat up for. This is worth being hit for. This is worth being spit out for. This is worth all of that. So I could come and just do as I'm doing right now, as I just did earlier. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten, yes, I do need these right now, Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. And I thought to myself, when I bought the Bibles, I thought, I'm not doing anything wrong. This is right. Why would my brother be upset with me? Why would he want to inflict all of his anger and hatred and even physically at me? Because of a book. Actually, two of them. Count the cost. So as time went on, I wanted to have a very close relationship with this one family that actually led me to Christ. And I was young, I was foolish. I spoke not as a believer in Christ. I was still very worldly. And I said some things and raised some eyebrows, and next thing I know, I went over there. Oh, he's not there. Oh, they're gone. Oh, this, oh, that. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me here. I messed up, said a few things. I apologized to his daughter. He won't return any of my calls. He won't talk to me. He's never there. He's hiding in the house. It's like, whatever. Count the cost. Why that happened? Because I didn't really know better. Why that happened? Because God used that man to lead me to Christ. He brought me forth on the path. And then at that point, he's like, I'm done. You gotta go. Keep going down there. Oh yeah, by the way, it's not an easy road to be on. It's not even a road. It's more like a game trail. Up in the hills, up in the hollers. This goes up and down. It's rocky, it's smooth, it's hard, it's easy. Peak and valley. Every step. It's not going to be easy. Count the cost. Where are you right now? And what are you doing? Did you just get off of work? It's 5:45 right now. Just say, hey man, I'm going to go to the bar. I'm going to run down to the dispensary and get some weed. I'm going to go, hit up this girl that I know and keep lying to her and flirting with her, and hopefully I could, take care of that tonight. Oh yeah, by the way, instead of spending money on food, feed my family and my wife and my kids, I'm blowing that up my nose or in my veins, or buy another toy that I really don't need because so many things are happening in this world. I just don't want to deal with it. I just want to escape. I want to get away from everything. I want some sanity. I want some peace. I want to feel like I belong. I want something to tell me, it's all right. I'm right here. And we'll walk this path together. If you're looking for peace and then sanity that we are in this world, with how things are, it's right here. It's in this Bible. Oh yeah, and it's King James. That's the one you should have. Count the cost. It's like, oh man, I'm not, call me a Bible thumper. Look at you, man. You're carrying this thing around. You're talking on the internet, or YouTube. I am gladly paying the price right now. No, this road isn't easy. And maybe that's the reason why so many people avoid it, ignore it, don't want to hear it, don't want to think about it. Oh yeah, I believe in Jesus. He's such a cute little baby. Look, it's Christmas. Oh, I'm sorry, can't say that. It's the holiday time. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't say that. I can't say that's a Christmas tree. I can't even say the word Jesus. Really? Yes. Oh, he was in the manger. And, there's 3 wise men. Yes, we all know that. But you know what? He grew up. Because he was on the path. He knew what his life was for. He knew the only way to save a wretched individual like myself, for him to pay the ultimate price. Imagine him looking down and going, that's my son right there. Man, instead of blowing that money on the drugs or on that, having an affair with this girl, why doesn't he just pay the bills? Why doesn't he just stay there with his wife and spend time with his kids? How can I get his attention? You're paying a price right now. That's a pretty steep one. I'm not paying a price. I'm just doing what I want. I don't really care. I don't believe in it. Believe it or not, care or not, one day, you as all of us, will stand before and give an account of what we did here on this earth. Keith, I have a list here of how many times you use my name in vain. I have a list here of how many times you cursed. I have a list here of how many times you looked at a woman with lust in your heart. I have a list here. 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 Go on. And then he's going to look at me and go, well, let's see. John 3:16. I'm going to keep hitting on this, and I hope it resonates. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Okay, verse 17. Hopefully I can get this without slamming the words, okay? It's a long day. Bear with me. For God sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. That the world through him might be saved. And yet there's people out there that look at this book and think it's a book of, even if there is a God, he hates me. He just wants to pound his fist on the table and say, you, go. No. This is a God that loves you, that wants a personal relationship with you. Count the cost. Where are you right now? Are you at a bar? Are you getting ready to do a fat rail? Are you sitting there rolling the fat one? What are you doing? What are you running away from? Spent all of these years, all of this time, all of this energy, all of this money on trying to run away from something you can never run away from. Instead of running away from something, why don't you run to something? Why don't you run to the only one that can save you, that looks at you and go, hey, it's going to get better. I know it doesn't look like it now. Give me all that. Give me all the pressures, all the stress, all the anxiety. I don't know how I'm going to pay the bills. I don't know. The holiday season is right around the corner. Here, on this channel, we say Christmas. I just don't know what to do. I don't know. Pray. Pray. With an honest, repentant heart. Look at the way I'm dressed. You think you're going to see me with a suit and tie on? With a long sleeve shirt and a sweater vest and penny loafers? I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Come to God the way you are. Don't sit there and go, well, wait until, I have to get presentable and, I have to get the right clothes and, oh, well, you can't have a beard, right? So I need a shave and, no, be who you are. Come to him now. Not tomorrow, not in a couple hours, not until next week. Come to him now. And say, I need you in my life. I understand John 3:16. I get it. It's not crazy, but the thing that amazes me is it's so simple. A child can understand this. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. And yet people still damn his name, damn God's name, and he's the only one that could save you or me? Really, man? But you're a tough dude, right? You're the one that ain't no one's going to tell me anything. That's good. You want to live your life like that. You know how it feels to have marital problems with your marriage? And you're trying to work things out with your brother and your mother, and you have zero relationship with your father. And then, of course, there's issues with your wife because you're not there. You're working too much. You're doing this. I have to work a lot so I can have the bills paid, as you and as everyone else, so I could try to take care of this family. You see, I was pretty young in the faith. I went, wow, I'm going to get married. She's the one for me. Well, our beliefs are different, but you know what? It's okay. It's pretty much the same thing, right? No, wrong. Totally different. There's some aspects that are similar, yes. You know, I remember the time I took my kids to school. I came back to where we were living, and she was there, and I said, can you sit down at the table? I like to talk. And she sat down and she goes, what do you want to talk about? I want to resolve whatever the issue is. I want to get past this. I don't want to have any issue. I want to work through it. Let's go for counseling. Let's see this. No. Count the cost. I went through a very difficult divorce. Why am I bringing that to your attention? For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. You see, it was okay when I was married. You go to a church and you could read this. This I read continuously, not as much as I wish, but I do. This is what will help you through any and all difficulties in this world. This is what you need to be reading. You know what it'd be like for you, if you have kids, to look at your one child or your children and say, you know, I love you, and I'm going to take you to school, but when you come back from school, there's going to be things missing because I need to move out, and the things that are missing, it was already agreed upon, right? What do you mean, Dad? I'm not going to be there. I need to move. And to look at a child's face and the disbelief, count the cost. Count the cost. Count the cost. Look at me now. I'm in a one-bedroom place. I get off of work and come, I open this door. There's anyone here. I was days away from sleeping in my car because I didn't have a place to live. I didn't have the money to get a place. And my one uncle, he asked me, he goes, so Keith, where are you going to be? And I said, I don't know. I'll get it figured out. He's like, well, why don't you just stay with me? And I said, I can't do that. And he goes, yeah, just stay with me. That time in my life, I worked and I worked and I worked as much as I could. Kept that my little bedroom and the few possessions I had there the best thing I could. And every time I would drive to his place, I was like, Please, God, help me. I need to get out of there. Not because he wasn't kind and understanding, but because I needed to get my own place. And then moving in here, and then trying to get everything settled. Horrible experiences. Count the cost. Count the cost. See, I think the reason why a lot of people don't want to be a Christian, oh, look at that person, he's so weird. Well, why am I the weird one? I'm living according, or I'm trying to live according to the way that God, our Father, wants all of us to live by. He created everything here. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. It's not hard to understand that, right? It's pretty simple. Even I could figure this out. That whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. So let me get this straight. If I accept the gift of salvation, then when I die, I'll stand before the Father, and I'll look at me and go, oh, my son, I've been watching you. Been seeing how you've been improving on things. And you've been reading, and you've been doing this, and your speech, your language, your attitude, the way you view things. Look how far you've come from where you were. Come. For God so loved the world. It could have been, he could have just went, done. And everyone could have been just wiped out. But he loves us. He loves us so much. Look at the price he paid. Look at that price he paid. You think he counted the cost before he paid that? I think in heaven he's looking down on the earth and went, man, this is the only thing. This is the only way. This is the only thing that I could do to outstretch my hand. Free gift to my creation. There isn't any other way that I could try to save them. Count the cost. So I was saying with my uncle one time, and I'm like, all this stuff's going on. I need to go to court. I need to do this. I need to speak to a lawyer. I'm trying to get on top of things financially. All these things, right? I need to make sure I'm trying to work as much as I can. I need all these different things. I want to see my kids. So on. And one time I was talking, I said, it'd be really nice one day just to find a nice woman, right? And he looked at me and goes, Keith, your one child is disabled. And, I don't think any woman's going to ever want you because of that child's disability. And I was a little surprised, something I didn't really think of, and I just stopped and I looked down. We were sitting down, I just smiled and went, well, then I guess I'll be single for the rest of my life because I'm not walking away from my kids. I want to be a part of their lives. Count the cost. Count the cost. Well, I'm not Mr. Goody Two Shoes, and, I'm not the preppy one, and I'm not trying to be perfect, and, I don't, I believe that there's a God, but, this is pretty strict, and, you mean I need to sit and read something, and I'm a good person, and, I just don't have the time. And God will understand that. And I think, I know, I go to a church, and so I'm okay, I'm good. I don't need this. No one's good. None of us. Going to a building, the body of believers, isn't that the church? And why would you be viewing your eternity through the eyes of another human that you're looking up to? Well, they know who I am, and da. I'm not asking you any of that, am I? Not that I recall. Let's spend time in the Word. Let's fellowship together. Let's be here for each other. Let's work through things so we could stay on that path. Well, I can't really walk on that path because, I have a bad knee, and God, He'll understand that it's okay if I just, maybe this coming Sunday when they pass a plate, I'll just put an extra 5, maybe 20 in there, and everything's okay. No, man. No. Count the cost. I can't stand in your place. I can't stand there and say, God, he's a good person, and he meant well, and, no. It's going to be you alone before him. What is your name? Who are you? Where are you from? For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. Verse 17. Excuse me, we're getting deep now. For God sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. So he's going to look at you and go, that's what I did for you. What did you do for me? What did you do for the kingdom? You see, the one church that I went to when I was baptized in, there's a group of guys, and I got to know them fairly well. Again, young, naive. And one of them was like, hey, let's go golfing. Let's go play golf. And I thought, I don't really have, okay, cool. I don't really have the money. I'm not really experienced in golf. I just thought, hey, this is a brother in the Lord. Let's spend some time with them. Right? So we go to the golf course, planned a date and time. Went to this golf course. I'm there. And he looks at me, the best I recall, and he goes, hey, I invited a friend of mine. So it'll be, what, 3, 4 of us, we're going to play together. I go, okay, cool, brother. So we started to play and hit the ball, what have you, horribly, right? So as time went on, I said, hey, brother, I think it's your turn here. Excuse me. And this guy looked at him, his friend, and goes, hey, I didn't know you had a brother. And the guy just froze. He's like, yeah, he's, we go to the same church, and he's someone I know from church. And I was totally shocked. I was like, wait a minute, aren't you supposed to be part of the fold? Aren't you supposed to be in the kingdom? Aren't you my brother? And I realized how foolish I was, because it was okay to talk to this guy. It was okay to call him brother at the church, right? But when he's away from the church, and when he took this and just tossed it to the side, oh, and there's other people around. Oh, I can't call you brother. I can't live my life through this. Because I'm with guys I know, and it's expected of me to be cursing and speaking inappropriately and acting like a fool, but it's okay, because when I see you on Sunday, I'll call you brother again, and we'll have a good time talking after the service. By the way, we'll talk about football and how I can improve, hitting the golf ball with the club. And I went through a very difficult time, because I was like, John 3:16, for God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son. Why are they acting like that when they're on Sunday? And then by the time they get out to the parking lot and they get in their car, you can't have anyone see this book, right? They might put you down. They might think, you can't go too deep in this, right? So we need to put this away. Maybe just throw in the back seat of the car, and then when you go to work, just throw a jacket over in case someone might see it from outside as they're walking past your car. And then when Sunday comes around, oh man, let's blow the dust off of this thing, and hey brother, how are you doing this week? That isn't what God wants. He wants a loving relationship with you, with all of us. I did a video, and I mentioned about God, how he walked in the Garden of Eden in the cool of the day. Excuse me. And what did he, why? Because he wanted a fellowship. If I recall precisely, he wanted to fellowship with his creation. He wanted to fellowship with Adam and Eve. And he wanted to have a relationship with them. Excuse me. And even in, I can't find the exact verse right now. Even then, right? He said, look, don't do this one thing. Don't eat from this one tree. That's it. You imagine being in this beautiful garden with the most amazing fruits, plants that you could eat. The weather had to be, I would imagine, perfect. The water had to be amazing to drink. Everything was there for you. But don't eat from this one tree. Simple, right? Even a child can understand that. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. That God so loved the world. That God so loved the world. He could have made Adam and Eve just totally mindless and just, we're just gonna, yes, God, yes. I'm not doing that in a downcasting manner. I'm doing that as an example to explain, to bring to your attention that God loved us so much that he gave them free will to choose. Don't eat from that tree. Look at the tree, turn around, and everything is given to you. I would imagine if Adam would have stepped on something and twisted his ankle or what have you, all you had to do is say, God, I need your help. And God would have been there and said, yes. And he probably would have healed that, right? Everything was for, I want to spend time with my creation. So that was messed up, right? God could have just went, okay, fine, throw in the towel, I'm done. No, he loves us. So God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. Yeah, I keep thumping this Bible and I keep ringing that same bell. God so loved the world. You could get mixed up in a lot of stuff. And you could get to the point where you don't even read this. I think us as humans, as a species, that's pretty simple to do. It's easy to do nowadays. With everything going on in this world. Everything. Look how things are. You don't think that breaks his heart? Well, if there's a God, why is your child disabled? Why did this happen? Why did that happen? It's not for me a question, is it? Even though that I have in the past. Maybe because he knows I love that child, do everything that I can for my children. Maybe that was an attack from the enemy. Maybe it was building my character, so in the future, building my ability to understand things like that. So in the future, when I see a child that's disabled or disfigured or can't walk or can't speak or doesn't have the ability to do things like that, Instead of looking at them going, ho, 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 look at them and go, oh, I know how that could be. I understand how difficult it can be. It's not an easy time of year for me. I know it hasn't been. What can you learn from this right now? Stop doing the things you know you shouldn't be doing. Come back to your Father. Come back to God. And I don't know, I come from a family and they don't believe in that. I came from a family and believe in this. Count the cost. I virtually lost my brother, my mother, my father. Some siblings of mine. Why? This is why. Oh, you're just out there. Why am I the one out there? You're sitting there doing things that you know are wrong. And then you wonder and you curse God. Da, 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 da. This happened, that happened. It's like, who are you serving? You're damning the only one that could save you? Okay, it'd be like this. I'm in the ocean, on a boat, and I see you in the water. Help, help, I need help. So I go over, I throw you a rope, and you cuss me out. Tell me go F off. And I'm looking at you totally just beside myself going, I'm trying to save your life. Don't you see? Don't you understand? Don't you see that swell coming? We don't have the time to debate. We don't have the time. Are you that blind you cannot see that? Are you that blind that you don't understand that I'm here to save you, to pull you out of that, to put a warm blanket over you and go, hey man, I'm here to help you. Yeah, I know what you were doing. And I can only imagine how you got in that situation. You called for help, I saw you, and I'm here to help you. And then you're damning who? Me and God? Well, don't you think it's pretty interesting? You're pleading for his help. I arrive, and then you start damning him. I don't need any help. I don't care. I don't. Really? How many? I was driving down the street here the other day, going to the post office. And on this one street, on this corner of a street, someone erected a makeshift cross and a photo of this young woman that was killed, I'm assuming at that street corner. And every time I drive past her, I think to myself, I wonder where she is. I wonder where she is. Did she make it to the kingdom? How are you going to live your life in hell and expect to live the rest of eternity in heaven? Count the cost. What cost are you willing? What price will you pay? Count the cost. Think it's easy to be at work and have coworkers put me down, make fun of me, snaring at me, making remarks all the time. And I think to myself, you know what? I feel sad for that person. I want to pray for that person. I hope that they could see what they're doing one day and understand I'm living my life by this. And I understand. Excuse me here. I understand they're living their lives here. It's all about, hey, what'd you eat for lunch today? I heard they're going to have this cheeseburger, and you can get an omelet, and let's gorge ourselves with as much food as we can. Oh, well, did you hear about this game? Oh, yeah, well, how's that? You know what those things are? And I'm not saying it's bad to eat nice food or food that you crave or watching a game. They're distracting themselves from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. That time they have wasted. They could have been doing something productive. Oh, well, this one guy, I gotta tell you, man, there's this one guy used to work here, and, some guests would come in and they'd bring like boxes of donuts because, they have their own bakery. Well, that's cool. Oh, yeah, but what's really cool is this one guy, he really likes this one certain donut. It's like a jelly-filled one. So you know what I did? Hey, you're going to like this. You're going to like this. Check it out. So I was in the office, and this kid was in there, and I looked at him and said, hey, check it out. And I grabbed the donut that he liked, and I took a bite out of it, and threw it in the trash and laughed at him. Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? I put that boy in his place and made fun of him. I'm looking at this guy going, why? Why be so cruel to another person? Are you that lowly of an individual that you find that much pleasure in putting someone down? Why couldn't you have just looked at that kid and laughed, say, hey man, good to see you, by the way. So-and-so came in, they brought some donuts. I know this is your favorite one, so before anyone else takes it, why don't you go ahead and get a napkin and get that donut? Why can't we be kind to each other, polite and respectful? Why? I have people look at me all the time, and I know I can almost sense what they think of me, right? Because here I am, I got my dark sunglasses on, right? Hey, how are you? And they're looking at me, and in their mind, they're like, oh man, they're judging the book by the cover. They don't know who I am. They assume they do. Do they know I read this? Do they know that this is what I focus on? This is what I live by? No. Oh, they may, though, after I choose, or if I'm fortunate enough to speak to them. And some of those individuals, they just kind of light up like, oh, wow, hey, how are you? I'm doing well, thank you. By the way, how's your day? Speaking of this one church that I used to go to that I was baptized in. No, excuse me, it was a different one. A few years later, I was thinking of a different story. And the service was over, if I recall correctly, and the service was over, and the pastor, he's like, how are you doing, Keith? How are things going? I looked right at him. I said, they're not going well. Actually, I'm going through some really difficult times. And he stopped, and he just looked at me. He's like, what? I thought to myself, you want me to lie to you and tell you everything's fine when it's not? The interesting thing with that, though, was the next Sunday. I believe it was the following Sunday, if I recall correctly. Guess what the message was that the pastor preached on? He said, I was after service, I spoke to one individual and asked him how he was doing. He said, he's not doing well. He goes, why is it everyone that I spoke to said that everything's fine? When is it we can stop and just be real with each other? Why is everyone such high-paced and they're so stressed? And I get it. It's a hard time. You think I'm going to be sitting there, hey, open up, let me cram this down your throat? No, 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 no. I'm here. Take my hand. I'll pull you up out of that. Dust yourself off. Why do you want to help someone like me? For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Well, I don't believe in that. I believe when I die, there's nothing there. So you want to bet your eternity on something that you're just guessing at? Oh yeah, well, what? How about you? How about me? For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Oh, well, that's just in the book. Yeah, it's in the book. Well, you don't know for sure that there's a God. I looked at this guy and smiled. I went, okay, well, let's do this, man. I live the rest of my life by this standard, right here. And that's the King James, the authorized edition or version, excuse me. Going out on a limb here, there's no God. Right? So if you're right, if this guy was right, which he is not, it's like, okay, so when I draw my last breath, what have I accomplished? I lived an upright life. I'm not cursing people out. I'm not belittling people. I'm living a high quality life. But you, the one that said that, the one that's in the world, you live like hell. And then you're hoping you have an opportunity to plead, God save me, before you draw your last breath. Well, I'm only in my 30s, so I have the rest of my life to, try, figure this thing out. It's like, who told you that? This here may be the last time I ever touch this book. Last time I ever hold it up. The last thing I ever do is read this to you. I don't know. God does. Well, I'm going to live until I'm 105 because, that's what my great-grandfather way back. You don't know that. Might be the last day I ever spend on this earth right now, right here, right now. Or I might have another day tomorrow, another week, another month, another year. Well, I just don't believe that. I believe that, the Big Bang Theory. Does that make any sense at all, man? Next time you're up in the mountains, you're at a job site, you're at the beach, do something for me, okay? Just flatter me. Find two rocks and just bang them together. And then watch them. Look at them. Get your glasses on if you have some, or a magnifying glass or whatever, and just look at it and go, it's not making any life. It's not creating anything. You know what it is? Two broken rocks laying on the ground. And yet people believe that's how everything was made here. People believe that. But they won't accept a loving God. And by the way, there's only one God. Okay? For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. You want to have everlasting life? Well, I like watching football, and I just don't feel like dealing with it right now. And, the bills are coming up, and it's too restrictive, but I'm a good person. And, even my wife would say I'm a good person, and my coworkers too. Oh, it's okay if I slip up and I curse a little bit, and it's okay if I talk down to my wife, and it's okay if I lust after this younger thing walking past me. And man, she's got a great body on her, by the way. Have you looked at her? Have you seen her? How about in that dress and those high heels? Man, back when I was in the Army, for God so loved the world. For God so loved the world. Do you love the world more than you love God? Do you love the world more than you love knowing what your purpose is on this life? Do you love the world more than knowing or having a close, loving relationship with the one that made you and me? Oh no, it didn't come from two rocks being banged together. Oh, well, and this happened, and the scientists and this highly educated individual over here said this, and excuse me, this person over here. I spoke to one kid similar to that. I just looked at him and said, you believe that? You believe that? Oh, yeah. Well, that's what they taught us in school. And, excuse me, I went, so you believe everything that everyone basically say to you, which I'm paraphrasing, but that was kind of where I was leading. Well, don't you believe that? No, I don't believe that at all. Well, why? You know why? Because I put my faith, my trust, my love, and my beliefs in God. He's the one that created these supposedly amazing individuals that you look up to. By the way, aren't we supposed to give our time to the Creator instead of the creation? Aren't we supposed to worship the Creator of heaven and earth and everything within? Not the creation. And by the way, I saw 2 red-tailed hawks today. They're flying fairly close by. And they were screeching. Beautiful, amazing animals. Oh, but that came about with 2 rocks being banged together, right? Just mysteriously. No one really knows, but, some scientist somewhere has a theory, a thought may have happened that's just, he's a very educated man, and this is what happened. No, man, it didn't happen that way. Well, then you tell me how it happened. Okay, well, let's go back to Genesis. Let's see how the world was created. It's right here. Oh, well, no, I don't know. Count the cost. Count the cost. Count the cost. Where are you going to spend eternity? What are you going to do if it's tonight? And God calls you before him. My son, my daughter, what did you do for me? Not for me, but what did you do with the life I gave you? Did you accept the free gift of salvation? Let's go through this one more time. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. But you want to curse his name, and you want to get wasted, and you don't want to be a man that will take care of his family financially, and you don't want to deal with this, and you want to run from that, and you want to go over here, and you want to do this. For God so loved the world. You got to stop running. You got to sit down sober-mindedly. And you have to really think. Where am I going to be? See, the time on this earth, it's over. Have I done everything correctly here? No. Will I ever? No. Am I trying? Yeah. Am I focused on trying to bring a loving, affectionate, caring Father before you and say, hey, he's right here. Take my hand. I'll pull you up and out of that stuff. See, when I first bought a Bible or Bibles, I bought one prior than these 2, but these 2 were the most important. Well, I wouldn't say the most important, but the ones that I mentioned earlier. I really didn't have anyone to look at me and say, hey, Keith, I know you're alone. I know your family mocks you. I know you're getting people at work that are putting you down. I know the issues, and I get that. Why don't we fellowship together? Why don't we have some time? We could talk about it together. And if you have any questions, you can always let me know, and I'll try to answer them. And I want you to know that someone's here for you, and that I care for you. And that I also want to make sure you stay in the direction you need to be, so you're not easily swayed off course. And when it's your turn and it's your time and God calls you before him, you could tell him you've done some things to try to help bring the good news of salvation to other individuals. I didn't have that. I was joking around. I was trying to make fun of one guy that had a sticker on the back of his car. Oh man, I'm gonna get this dude, right? Because what a joke he is. Look how real men love Jesus. Really? Really? He's not a real man. Let me talk to him. Let me just get a little chink in the armor. Let's see what he's really about. I bet I could get him a cuss. Yeah, that's it. Why don't you cuss me out? Let's see what he's going to do. Let's see if he'll actually, want to sit down and talk to someone like me, right? You ever felt like that when you know someone's a believer? That you know someone's accepted the gift of salvation? Let me do something. I bet I could trip him up. I bet I could do something to irritate him, get him mad. He's going to hit me, right? Like this one guy at work, he keeps telling me, go ahead, hit me. Piece of trash, hit me. What do? I just look at him and smile, go, hey, how are you doing? It's a beautiful day, huh? How are you doing? Well, why don't you do something? I just look at him and smile and go, Father, my Father will take care of that. Because when this person stands before him and my Father looks at him and goes, what'd you do with the gift of life that I gave you? What'd you do with the gift of salvation? Did you accept it? Oh, and by the way, my son, Keith. Oh, yeah, right here in this book. Wait a minute, what was your name again? I'm sorry, can you spell that for me? Okay, well, oh yeah, well, on this date, you're mocking my son. On this date, you're putting him down. And on this date, you're cursing my name. On this date, look at what happened. You need to tell me, you need to give me an account and the reasoning for that. A lot of people watching this probably go, oh man, Keith, taking this thing too far, just because it's written on paper and it's, let's back off. Let's take it easy on this, because this might be a little too extreme for what's too extreme. What? Having a strong, loving Father that wants to spend time with you, that wants to know you, wants to help you, sees what you're going through and go, my son Keith, do this video. Someone out there really needs to hear it. Oh, no, you don't have to put on the nice, suit and tie and, have a pulpit to stand behind and all. No. Well, son, you're just off work, and I know it's been a long day. You've been up since 3 a.m, and it's almost 7 at night. Son, deliver this message, because someone out there, they might not know what my word is. They may not understand. They might not even have one of these. They might be in a similar situation like you were in, where they don't have anyone to turn to that is there for them, that wants to hear from them. Count the cost, because either way, you're going to pay a price. Are you going to pay a price before God? And he looks at you and goes, look how you lived your life. How you cheated, cussed, stole, foul-mouthed, filthy, ignorant, just did whatever you wanted to do whatever you wanted to do. And I kept sending people to you. I kept sending my children to you to throw that rope out. like you were in the ocean, getting ready to drown. And you kept asking me, God, help me. So I sent my one son, Keith, in this video to you to get your attention, to have you stop, to make you stop and think, where am I going? Why am I doing these things? Why am I watching these movies? Why am I listening to this type of music? Why am I doing this? Why am I acting like this? Why am I trying to be like this person over here or this person over there? I saw a person today, tad down, laid back dude, ball cap, whole nine. I'm thinking to myself, who's your father? Is that your Father in heaven? Are you blind? You belong to the one that's waiting to devour you. See, I've seen shirts, I've seen hats, I've seen hoodies, skeletons, lucky number this, this, whatever. It's like, okay, so you're really cool wearing that stuff, but what's the purpose? Is it because you're trying to impress other people? Oh, I'm so tough. I'm not tough. I don't want to be tough. I just want to be me, man. Oh, well, you can't talk like this and you can't act. What? You're living your life. Are you living it for you? Are you living it because I gotta get that car, man, because that's the end right to have? It's gotta be this color. It's gotta have these types of rims and this type of tint and this system in it. And man, I need to be dressed a certain way and make sure I'm looking right and gotta act a certain way, and I gotta make sure I could drink a 6-pack and not really get buzzed by that, or if someone offers me some weed, man, I gotta be able to handle that, because that's what a real man. No. That's what a real man does. You know what a real man does? He acknowledges when he's wrong. He comes to his father and apologizes for the wrongs that he's done. Oh, and by the way, right here, John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. So if you come to God with a repentant heart, and you mean what you say to him, and you ask him for forgiveness, is he going to just bash you over the head with a sledgehammer and say, oh, I'm done with you, get away from me, you're done? For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. He wants a personal relationship with you because he loves you and me. I was struggling. I was off course. I think I mentioned that in the video in the past. Brother at work, I talked to him. He asked me if I wanted to rededicate my life. I said yes. We prayed right there in front of God and man. And from that point forward, I've been changed because I came back to my Father and I asked for forgiveness. And I ask for acceptance, and I ask for him to take me back. I believe the moment you ask for forgiveness and you accept him wholeheartedly, past is gone. The way you spoke, the way you would view things, all that, it's wipe that board clean. Now it's like, all right, son, if you're my child, it's time for you to start reading. It's time for you to learn, to grow, to educate yourself. It's up to you. Count the cost. Where are you? I'm not putting you down. I'm not condemning you. I'm not making light of this. Bring it to your attention. Focus on what you're doing. Correct the direction you're on. Why do you think I named the channel The Path? Get on the path that leads you home to God your Father. Do you want to stand before him and him look at you with judgment in his eyes going, you wasted your entire life for what? What? What did you gain from it? Or do you want him to look at you and go, my son, I've been waiting to see you. I've been watching you very closely. And I'm very pleased with the progress you've made. Yeah, you stumbled here and you strayed off there and you swayed over here and you didn't speak right there. And I saw when you looked at that woman that walked by and you had that fleeting thought and you went, oh God, I understand. I'm not expecting you to be perfect, son. But I expect you to follow my word. And I expect you to want to have a relationship with me. I hope this is good. I hope it's good in the sense that I'm bringing this. If you're on this channel and you're watching this video, it's not a mistake. There's a reason. It isn't just accidentally, oh, well, I'm just going to watch this crazy bald-headed bearded guy, ho, ho, ho. As I'm drinking my beer and, smoking whatever, man. There's a reason. Quit running. Quit hiding. Stand on your own 2 feet. Read John 3:16. Buy one of these. You could get them at the dollar store, I'm pretty sure. Okay? King James Version, the authorized. Right? This one you probably can't get at the dollar store, but they have them there. You could go to other stores. You could go to a Walmart and buy a King James Version Bible, okay? For, I don't know, what, $12, $15? Get the authorized King James Version. Don't be fooled. Don't go with any of these other translations. They're trash. They're not correct. Stay pure in the Word. This is God's Word. This is the Word here. If you have any questions, leave me a comment. Like, share, and subscribe these videos. So even if you don't want to subscribe, at least share the video with someone that you think may get some benefit out of it. I try to speak from things from my personal experience, from my heart to you. Let's walk the path together. I can't do it all by myself. If you're sitting there stumbling with something, a sin that you've been tripping over again and again and again and again, I get that. We all have those issues. it's not going to get any better unless you know someone is there that has gone through similar experiences that can help direct you. Say, hey, don't walk there, man. There's a you're going to fall right there, man. There's some roots growing on this path, and you're going to trip over them, and you're not going to see them. Oh man, the water washed out this other section. Don't walk over there. You're going to twist your ankle. Man, don't stray out the path there, because if you do, you're just going to fall, because that's a sheer drop. Count the cost. I hope to see you all again on the path. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so I could try to get this out to more people that may want to view it. This has been a long video, but I felt that it needed to be long. I felt that I was led to do this video for someone out there. Watching this video, it's not a mistake.